Good morning, good evening. Welcome to week 8 of PSSL 6251 Interagency Cooperation at George Washington University. I just want to welcome you to the end of the course. I think most of you by now should at least be finishing paper 4. And you just have that short paper on the simulation due, so welcome to the end of the course. And for some of you, I think you're on the tail end of your master's degree, so congratulations on that, or at least being almost complete with your master's degree. I just want to start off again, week 8, just some announcements, and I want to go pretty quickly on this. First, as I mentioned in the Adobe Connect session, for those of you who were there, I am a resource for you from here on in. The way I consider it, if you're tuition-paying GW students, you get me as a resource. So you get to, talk to me about the course, the curriculum, career prospects, jobs after when you leave. If you ever come into DC, you get me as a part of your network. So please, please see me as a resource. I've helped people previously with finding jobs. I've recommended people for jobs. I've written recommendations for fellowships for students. I've even just written LinkedIn recommendations on their LinkedIn page. So I've done that all, and I consider that as part of my job. So again, if you're here, if you're in the DC area, come to the DC area, feel free to hit me up with those issues, or you can also just hit me up for a drink if you're in the DC area. I always like to kind of just get out a little bit more. So yeah, so second thing, course evaluations, please do them. This course is going to go through a rewrite, and I already talked about some recommendations that I have, and I would really want to get your inputs in this as well. So if there's something with the curriculum, if there's something with the assignments, if there's something with me, please let me know. And if you're gonna, just please put it in the course evaluations. They're anonymous, and I won't see them for a few weeks. So please again be as honest as possible in those, and please complete them as well. Paper 3, you should all have it. Paper 4, I want to have graded early next week, so it's due today. I want to grade it pretty quickly. Again, it's paper 4 is kind of your own interpretation analysis, so you're not doing in-depth research on this paper, so it's not going to be, in previous, you guys have seen my comments of, wanted you to do more in-depth, more research, but this is going to be a little bit more laid back, we'll say that. And I'll have that graded to you early this week, and then the final group paper will be graded. I got to finish it up before next Friday. So I'll have that graded as well. But I want you to have the grades before you go on to your next course. So the course simulation, it started. There was a technology issue. I don't know what it was, but please post in Unit 8. Don't go to the course simulation under the general course. Go to Unit 8 and post your discussion points there. The one thing I'm going to caution, I already saw this already, is don't put internal communications with your group on any discussion boards. That's not the purpose of the discussion boards. The purpose of the discussion boards are to communicate among agencies. So if you have questions, RFIs, or issues like that, that's where the discussions board comes into play. And I want to see those as well to see that there's interaction among the different entities. Don't post the write-up that I gave you. The whole point is that in the real world, no one, if you ask the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, give me all your information, and he gives you a 2-page thing, and that satisfies your information requirements. It's not how the real world works. The real world works with bureaucracy and requests for information and digging through and actually trying to piece together the information when you don't have it right in front of you. So that's kind of the mentality I want to get into this simulation. And then again, 1,500, 2,000 word paper that's not for each person, for each group. Just get that knocked out. It shouldn't be too much from these lessons learned, and you saw the assignment criteria in the original paper. So yeah, just get those knocked out, and the simulation again should be good simulation. Should at least be interaction among the classes and the students. So with that being said, I just want to kind of wrap this up. This will be the last YouTube video, so you won't see me next week. And you have the wrap-ups in your syllabus, so I'm not going to go into it in detail, but I just want to, with current events and past events, when you're looking at interagency, look at failures. Look at big policy failures in the last 10 years, 15 years, whether it's Iraq, and you could have multiple failures. Iraq failed to plan for the post-war, Iraq WMD, Iraq what's going on now. In fact, the president just said that there was intelligence failure related to ISIS. Look at those failures and then ask, okay, failure ended up, and then backtrack. Why did this happen? Hurricane Katrina is another example that you guys did research on. Okay, so you had Hurricane Katrina, you had a massive failure. Failure of the federal government to provide. Why? Why did that happen? And then you look back at those interagency sticking points. Did the federal government not push resources to the state government? Did the state government not have the right communication interoperability with local governments? Did the local government not request information at the right time? Did evacuation orders not get passed through? I mean, that's Hurricane Katrina in depth. And so look back at those interagency failures when you have a large policy failure, and that's hopefully what you can take away from this class. So, the next time there is a Hurricane Katrina or next disaster that happens, it's very likely it could have been prevented, but certain people didn't communicate with each other in an appropriate scenario-based way. So hopefully, again, that's where you kind of take away from this course. Also look interagency horizontal and vertical. And what I mean by horizontal, that's the traditional FBI, CIA, agency at the federal government not talking to each other, part of what your simulation is based on. But look vertically as well. And Hurricane Katrina is the perfect example of this federal government operating in one sphere, the state government operating in another sphere, local government operating in another sphere. And then there's interagency failures along that perspective. And there's, again, we talked about in class, there's communications issues, there's legal, posse comitatus issues, there's just incompetence, and we can go in detail on that. So the question is, are those structures, those horizontal or vertical structures, not very well delineated to prevent, to mitigate the effects of a disaster? And then the final piece, just look at factors, and we talked about those factors throughout the course as a theme that don't allow for interagency cooperation. Everyone at the top, everyone says, hey, we're cooperating, we're trying to work together, we're all on the same shimmies. And that's the talking point at the top levels. The top management actually, they'll set up working groups and stuff so they can at least say they're talking to each other. However, when you get down to the nitty-gritty policy work, there are incentives, there are budget reasons, there are other structures that prevent people from talking and cooperating with each other. And I'm talking at the mid-level management. And we kind of alluded to it with Katrina, we kind of alluded to it with the police cooperation. But at what are the incentives, whether they're budgetary, legally, or just personalities that prevent cooperation at that low level, at that mid-level manager level? And that's kind of where I want to leave you with that, because a lot of you will be assuming those roles. So again, I appreciate everyone's inputs this course and this quarter. Good luck with this remainder of the program for some of you, and good luck with graduation and finishing up the program. And I hope to see you guys sometime in the future.